you guys are the biggest marketing tool we have for the film. So talking about the film, sharing the film, telling people to go and watch the film. I've been very humbled to see how independent films do against the bigger films. It's like night and day. So any support for smaller films like really matters, whether that's my film, whether that's any smaller independent films that you guys really want to see. Like the numbers of people going and buying tickets really makes a difference. So as much as if you guys enjoyed the film, please write letterbox reviews, please tag the film or tag me, please encourage people to go see the film, come and see the film again, support independent cinemas. It's like really important to support independent cinemas. I guess, yeah, that being said, all else I can say for the film is it's made by an incredible community of people in Lagos. My brother and people I've been making the film with, we've been working in Nigeria for over 10 years. The reason why we're able to make a film like this is that we've like invested time in working with community in Nigeria. For anyone who's Nigerian in the room knows how difficult that might be and how hectic a place it is to work. But we really believe that no matter where you're from, you should be the authors of your own story. Because what tends to happen if you're not is that the people and the places that you're from start to get very riddled with stereotypes. And that can become like a self-fulfilling prophecy for loads of people. Equally, I understand that people's relationships with dual nationality or dual identity can be quite tricky based on their personal experience. But I think it's really important to, as much as possible, try and engage. And what we've learned with the film is that ultimately, me and my brother made something for ourselves, but it's been an exercise in creating more empathy for the older generation at home, because our parents and grandparents lived through various like military dictatorships and a bunch of authoritarianism. So them not speaking actually for them is an act of survival. And what's really important is to try and, in archiving, is to try and get information from the older generation so that information isn't lost forever. So I sort of encourage you, I think I said on the TV the other day, to archive your stories, to archive the people you love. I'll tell you a little bit more about the sort of infancy of the film, if that really helps. Is a lot of my background is I used to do an apprenticeship. I basically went to university in Brighton and then wanted to live in Brighton and just party my life away. But fortunately enough, I got offered a receptionist job here in Soho, actually, working for an ad company, and realized I sort of wanted to be in and around film. Fast forward a few years later, I came and then I started working with these documentary filmmakers called Tim and Barry. They document a lot of like black electronic music, grime, specifically dubstep. And they I was their apprenticeship effectively for 6 years. And I say that because it's really important that apprenticeships come back into fashion, because I think a lot of people, don't have many entry points into sort of like the creative community or don't know how to navigate it. But anyway, I assisted them for many years, and that enabled me to build a network of people I've ended up working with in this film. So my costume designer, PC Williams, is someone I used to work in costume for her. My not these production designers, but I've worked in production design. I've tried to moonlight as a very bad producer. I was a videographer for years. I used to shoot a lot of like Boiler Room and NTS, and then ultimately started DJing for a while. So a lot of my friends, again, were sort of from the club scene. And I say all that to say that the way I got to making a film was I started making films about my community in London, which was predominantly like black and queer community in London, kids from the diaspora in all shapes and sizes. And we started making music videos and music films and fashion films for ourselves. And then ultimately, I was trying to make a music video for an incredible artist called Mika Levi, who does all the music for Jonathan Glazer, Under Your Skin, the one that won the Academy Award last year and stuff like that. And I got introduced to the guys at BBC. They asked me to make a feature film. I thought, these crazy white people are at it again. And refused, actually. I refused and I said I'd make a short film because I'd never made a talking narrative before. And they agreed. And I'd never written a script before, so I actually sent them a voice note, which ended up being what they commissioned me of. It was like, it's the first time we've been commissioned someone off a voice note, but you have to write it down. And then we made a short film called Lizard, which is actually on the iPlayer, so it's free for you guys to watch if you have a TV license, or even if you don't have a TV license. And that was made that in Nigeria, and then off the back of that, it was pretty successful. It won the Grand Jury Prize in Sundance, and it got me my first BAFTA nomination, actually. So after that, we realized that we wanted to make something a lot more personal, and then my brother wrote this film, and we sort of developed it. So something to say for this film is there's a lot of firsts. It's my first film as a director. It's my brother's first film as a writer. Our cinematographer, it's his first film. The boys in the film, they're real brothers. It's their first film. Production design, it's their first film. So many people, it's a first, and I say that to say, like, it's really important to work horizontally. So work with people who are on your level, because you get more time. They give you more of their time, more of their energy. People always want to work with people who are like ahead of them, which is quite difficult because they're trying to work with people ahead of them. So yeah, I always say that. And for any aspiring filmmakers in the room who like want to try and figure out how to make film, there's a really good book called Rebel Without a Crew. It's by Robert Rodriguez, the guy who made a film called El Mariachi back in the 90s, which ended up becoming I can't remember the film it became, but it was a film with Antonio Banderas. But it's a great book because it's just a real ragtag way of making a film, like with like very like zero resources. And I say that because that book made me believe I could make films. And then another thing I say is like try and shadow. If you know anyone doing things, just observing people making films is really good. But also write what you know, make films about your community. Thank you. Jesus, that was hard.